What do you put on first, your pants or a shirt?
My shirt.
See, I put on pants first.
I think that's the normal. I think that's norm.
I think more people would put on pants first because my idea is like cover up the sensitive parts as quickly as possible. Because I'm always prepared, right? Like, what if I'm getting out of the shower and somebody breaks into my house and I wasted time putting on my shirt and then I got to run out there with no pants on and just my thing hanging out there?
I've actually thought about that. I think it would be scarier if I come running down my hallway with my danghy hanging out. I think that would get someone to stop a lot faster than if I didn't have a shirt on.
That's actually a really good point. I guess if I was a robber and I saw somebody like come running out of the shower, coming around a corner, and they didn't have a shirt on, I wouldn't think too much about that unless they were like jacked. But if they came out of the shower running out and they didn't have any pants on, your strategy might be better, actually.
Because, I mean, in my case, it's the person, whoever it is, or whatever sex they are, is going to go, what is that thing? And that split moment is going to be able to allow me to tackle them. And then, though they may stab or shoot me, at least I have the, availability to do so.
Okay. If you find yourself in a men's locker room, can you completely avoid looking at anybody else's equipment? Or do you accidentally see it? Can you maintain nothing but eye contact, or do you accidentally catch a glimpse at other people's stuff?
What kind of question is that?
It's a legitimate question. Like, how good are you at just, nope, I can see a naked man right in front of him, and I won't look at his thing whatsoever.
Gotten a lot better throughout the years. I will say when I was younger, you're a teenager, you're a kid, right? So, I mean, and then there was one time, a long time ago, when I went to a Gold's Gym, shout out Gold's Gym, where a guy had apparently elephantitis in one of his testicles. So I had to look. How can you not look at that? You have to take a look.
If you were in a male locker room, if you were in the men's side of a male locker room and another guy just perfectly, like, it wasn't a sexual thing, wasn't sexual in any way, he was just like, hey, man, great package. How would you react to that? It was like he was complimenting your car. It's just like, hey, man, nice car. And he was just like, hey, nice one.
I mean, I never have to worry about that, but if that ever did happen, I mean, I think the first reaction would be you'd probably be a little thrown off by it, maybe. But let's just say that I wasn't thrown off by it. I would be great, man. Thanks. You want to touch it? I mean, you want to hang out? Thank you. I mean, okay, let's just go. No, I don't know. I will never be in that situation. Nobody in a locker room is going to look and be like, I'm gonna compliment that guy.
I'm just going to compliment that guy's Johnson.
Nobody's
like,
going to
hey,
do
man,
that.
Great dick. Great dick.
Look at the friggin' hook on that thing. Anyways.
Okay, well, going back to our initial question, polled the audience. 54% of people say they put on pants first, which I think is probably the more prevalent. I think most people would start at the bottom and work their way to the top. 46% of people say shirts first. Okay, what's this story that you want to tell me?
Our new president, by the way, says I can be anything I want, so I'm going to be a doctor from now on.
That's
there's
the biggest lie in America. This doesn't have to do with the current president, but no, you can't be anything you want. You can't be anything you want, and you never could be anything you want. You can grow up to be whatever you want to be. No, you can't, because if you're 5'6", you're not going to be in the NBA. So you can't grow up in the NBA. We need to stop lying to children and to tell them the truth.
There has been one or two NBA players that were below 5'6", I think. That
is the exception, not the rule. That is the exception that proves the rule.
I actually have two stories. One, and we kind of talked about this a little bit last week, and I think it's a question no one's really thought about, so we don't really have to spend a lot of time on it, but I wanted to get it out there. What's the most you've ever spent for a drink at a restaurant or bar?
Oh, I'm cheap. Probably not more than $15.
Well, I don't know how I got conned into this, but I got conned into paying for a $60 glass/shot of Pappy Van Winkle's, which is apparently a very nice bourbon, I think.
How do you get conned in? I'm not susceptible to peer pressure.
I also don't know, so I drink a lot of alcohol, but I'm not up on Scotch, whiskey, and bourbon really. So when this came out, I was just like, oh, that's great. I shot it like a And one of the people at the table that was with me, I mean, I thought he was gonna punch me. He's like, "You don't shoot it. You're supposed to sip it."
Yeah, you don't shoot a $60 glass of whiskey.
Yeah, well, I didn't really want to drink it, but like I said, I got conned into it thinking it may taste good. And then it became this whole thing because then one of the guys at the table said that it wasn't Pappy's, and like it became this whole thing. So.
Okay, well,
right,
I
but
thought
that's
I was
not the
going to be
story.
interested in this. Was that the interesting story, or was
No,
that the?
here's the interesting story.
All right.
I went to McDonald's with my children,
Okay.
and apparently they don't have like people at the counter anymore that take your order unless it's like an emergency. So I take my kids, you know, and of course they want they're like their fucking mom, like they just can't get a burger, like they have to get a burger minus this, minus that, right? So I order all this shit, and not all this shit, but the food, and I press, you know, complete order, and I go to stick my card in there or tap my card to pay for it, and it's like, no, you can't do this. You have to go through our app to pay for it.
Oh, that's ridiculous. But first of all, they're just trying to trick you. You're not looking at the screen right enough. I think that basically, if I can jump ahead in this story a little bit, I think the basic problem is that you're not reading, actually taking time to learn how to do something. And you don't like it because you have to learn how to do something new, and you don't want to put in the effort and the time that it takes to learn how to do something new. You need to evolve in life. Right? You need to learn how to do new things and adjust to the way that society is going. Society doesn't revolve around you, John. You need to adjust to society, and this is the future of society. You can complain about it as much as you want, but this is what you're going to have to do if you want to exist.
Nope, not doing it. Long story short, I walked out of there pissed off as all hell because they embarrassed me. And then I left, and I just went home. So
how did they embarrass you? How did McDonald's embarrass you?
Well, it said, okay, if you want to pay for it at the counter, press receipt, and it's supposed to give you a receipt. You take it up the counter, you pay, right?
Yeah.
I did that once, nothing came out. I'm like, okay, maybe I didn't do something right. Went through the entire thing again, downloaded the app. The app thing wasn't working on any of the 4 kiosks. So I'm like, you know what? I'll press receipt again. Doesn't give me a receipt. So then I go up to the counter, and I'm pressing the stupid little bell they have there, ring bell for service. Finally, after 5 minutes, I get somebody. And the young man comes up to me, and we're kind of having a chat. He seems a little annoyed with me, whatever.
Yeah, because we were probably the 50th person he's had to help this out with.
Sure. Well, I was annoyed too, you know. But who cares about customer service anymore? He tells me that he can't look up my order unless I have a receipt. And I'm like, I can't print the receipt because you don't have any paper in there. Well, then he says, sir, I don't know how to help you. And I said, okay, can I just order here then? And then he's like, I have to go get somebody else for that. I'm working the drive-thru. And I said, I understand you're working the drive-thru, but what am I supposed to do as the customer? So then I waited for another 5 minutes. Nobody came up, and I just left.
Nice. I mean, I went to a McDonald's, and it took me about 2 minutes to get my food, and I went through one of those order screens and didn't have any problems. The problem is, it's like, okay, you have to. This is my thing. You have to adjust to the way that society is moving on because progress is not going to stop. This is always that it's going to be. We're not going back to the old days. We're not going back to like McDonald's greeting you at the thing, holding your little baby hand, helping you out, picking the pickles off for you. You're going to have to be a man and do things on your own, and you're going to have to learn how to order food at McDonald's. Okay?
So here's the thing.
If you're having trouble with this, you're going to have a lot bigger problems moving forward. You got to learn how to use the iPhone so you can understand the computer.
I clearly I'm not the issue because I operate in general on things that are moving forward on progressive issues. What scares me is the generations below us that don't want to problem solve at all. That, I mean, they might know how to work a computer screen, but like, you know, it's just scary. It was a scary moment. Yes, it was probably my fault, even though their stupid thing wasn't like the app reader wasn't working, and they didn't have paper in any of their machines. And then, you know, knucklehead apparently didn't know how to operate a counter, but it's fine. It's my fault. So, anyways, it doesn't matter. Let's just move on.
Okay. Look, this just admit to the fact that you are a 35, 37-ish-year-old man with the mentality of a 77-year-old.
All I wanted to do was try to do something nice for my children. I don't even like McDonald's.
Instead,
I don't even like
you made
walking.
A scene.
I don't even like walking into fast food places. I don't like it.
I just think that like you are ultimately the determiner of how a situation goes and how you respond to that. You could have had a nice, pleasant day. Maybe you don't get McDonald's, so maybe you go into the field and pick blueberries or whatever, right? Like, you have to make the situation what the situation is. You can't have everybody hand you things all your life, right? You can't expect to just go to McDonald's and say, hey, everybody, make my day better. They're just going to give you some food.
Not it at all. Get machines that fucking work. Anyways.
They probably do.
I'm just gonna
go ahead and say 90% chance that's operator error is involved in that. Because you didn't want to take the time to read it.
I felt like I was on an episode of Punk'd. I thought someone was gonna walk out of the blue and be like, oh, like, but no. Instead, it doesn't matter. Can we just move on to shoutouts?
Yeah, sure.
I'm getting heated. Like,
okay, cranky.
My face is getting red. Like, I'm just.
Why don't you have service anymore? Rah, 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 rah. Back in my day, you used to have somebody greet you as soon as you walk in the door, and they take your order and they bring it out to you. You didn't even have to leave a tip. Now you got to leave a tip, and you got to press the buttons on the thing and the electronics, and I don't know where my data's going. And like, God, dude, like, you can't go down this road. You are too young to go down this road of complaining about technology and not being able to exist in society. You are at a crossroads right now, my friend. You can turn around and you can go on a new path, or you can go cranky Kong, and you can spend the rest of your life bitching about every single thing that happens to you. What are you going to do?
All I wanted was some service. You're a customer service representative. That's what you are. Help me. That's all I wanted.
Oh, okay, well, change society then, dude. Take over McDonald's.
These are going to be the most angry
I know, I can hear it.
And I apologize for that.
Good.
So I'm going to try to be happy. I'm going to try to do it in a very pleasant tone. So
okay.
Let's see. We'll start with David Franks, Jamie Phelan, Maria Lawless. Needed some law at that McDonald's yesterday. I tell you
Here we go. That didn't go long. You got 3 things. See, now you got to bring it back. You always got to bring it back to the complaints about society and the kids of today.
I'm good. Frank Gill, Brandon Blakely, Jordan Liardon, Ayub Aloui, Ken Smith, Jonathan Ho, and Denise Holzer.
Why doesn't everybody just have the same name and pronounce the way that it was supposed to be spelled in the Bible, and then I wouldn't have to read all these things? Why can't all of society just exist in a way that makes my life easier?
Yeah, that's why we pay people who are customer service representatives.
Yeah, dude, they work at McDonald's. Look, that's never going to happen again. It is never going to happen again. Because we have reached the stage in society in which you are no longer able to make money by providing people a service. You have to now make money by getting into the other person's pocket. So all of that stuff is just over with, and you might as well adjust to it.
Right. I'm not, whatever. I'm just, half of it's me fighting with technology, and then my kids were there. You know, it's always one big stressor. You know what I mean?
Life's what you make it, man. Life is what you make it.
Anyways, I don't know. I had some stuff to talk about. I'm still
just flustered.
I'm flustered. I'm angry. I'm just gonna try to take a second just to come back.
Okay. You want to talk about the Detroit Lions for the first time ever that they had a good team and they completely blew it, just like everybody else besides the people in Detroit knew that they were? Does that make you feel better? The fact that they had their best season in years and they still lost and gave the game away, and it was entirely their fault, and now they're trying to probably, just like you, like everybody else from Detroit, always got some excuse trying to blame somebody else.
No, you know, I mean, I can give you here's my 30 seconds on them. One, they had the best season ever in their franchise history.
Still lost.
But I mean, you know,
the first round of the playoffs.
Anytime that you commit 5 turnovers, I mean, they still put up 31 points. I mean, but if your defense can't hold a team to under 31 points in the playoffs, it's going to be really hard to win. So it's, you know, it's you can say they. I mean, they lost their best defensive player earlier in the year. They lost their best cornerback due to a broken elbow, like on the second play. But
Lions gonna Lions, man.
At the end of the day, you know, unfortunately, Lions are gonna Lions.
Lions are gonna Lions. Maybe they should blame the kids. Maybe they should blame the kids of today.
Yeah, if I could, I would jump through this monitor.
I know.
I was so hot.
Oh,
My wife agreed with you, and it made me even more angry.
Yeah, dude, I don't know why you ever got your hopes up. Like, they're always like Lions gonna Lions.
Oh, the Lion? Oh, I'm just talking about McDonald's again.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Like, anyways.
Okay,
It ended up working out. I took my anger, I turned it into positivity, and it was a good evening. So
there you go. That's all you got to do, man.
All right. Let's see. Out of all the movies in the world that you don't want to make a sequel to, I feel like this is number one.
Here we go. What's with you and always complaining about movie sequels?
Cameron Diaz said that she is in to make a sequel to The Mask if Jim Carrey is.
I mean, I'm not going to watch it. Do what you want. Like, I could care. Like, I don't know. Why do you get upset about these things?
I just want originality. You know, I want someone to help me at McDonald's. You know what I mean? I want someone. I want original ideas. I want people to use their brains and think, not just rely on technology and overused ideas to stimulate our already unstimulated brains.
That's what's really difficult, though, for me, is that ultimately, like, it's blaming the people who produce things for the thing that you consume, right? Like, you can hate the Kardashians. They're kind of over now, but you can hate the Kardashians, but you're watching it. So, like, you have to be the change that you want in the world. I think that this comes back to the things that we talked about. You are in control of your situation. You have to be the change. If you want things to change, then change them. You don't want them to stop. They keep making movie sequels. Stop watching movie sequels. Like, you have control in this world. You don't like the way McDonald's is headed, the way that they're doing things, don't go there. Like, you have a voice. Use it.
But we don't have control. That's the whole thing.
It's because everybody gives up right before, but you do have control. You have far more control than you realize. It's just really difficult for us to exert it. But you have to do it on a daily basis and continue to do it. You have to make choices based on what you want the outcome to be rather than the immediate need that you're facing.
I think we should just end the episode there.
Okay, all right. Well, do you have anything else you want to complain about?
No.
I wish somebody else would do something. No, you got to do it. Be the change, John.
I do plenty. I do plenty. You don't got to worry about me. Just not going to McDonald's ever again.
Okay, good. Be the change. Complain to McDonald's.
Grass-fed hamburgers, my ass.
Anyways, I don't believe any of that stuff. I mean, probably grass-fed at some point. They probably had glass at some point. So
yeah, maybe when they were babies. All right, let's just go on to our top five. I think
we're going all the way there, huh? You've given up on everything, huh? I like it. I like it.
Let's
Phone it all in. Okay.
Let's go.
I'm
this is going to be much better
all of my life. Okay.
And much more fun than anything I'm going to bring up this episode.
Do you want to talk about the weather? We're not talking about the weather.
I mean, it's for the next 4 days in Michigan, at least where I live in southeast Michigan. It's in single digits, and the wind is going to make it in the negatives pretty much all day, every day. But I don't find it that cold. Like, I still go outside in, like, a sweatshirt, blue, like, jeans. Like, I mean, I'll dress up if I'm going to be outside for 10 minutes, but, like, it's cold. Like, get over it. It happens.
Yeah, I agree. The only time that I would ever say that I have changed my life due to cold weather was when I went to Canada and it was negative 50, and I was like, oh, I can't go outside in this. That was way too much. We're not talking about the weather. We're going over to movies.
You did that. I didn't do it. You did it.
I did it as a joke, and then you went on about it for 5 minutes like you always do, about the weather and about the kids today and about... Anyway.
God dang.
Okay, so our top five is top five most quotable movies. What's your number five?
This was a hard list to kind of narrow it down to 5 movies, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think it's pretty difficult because there's a lot that you could put in there, and it kind of depends on like the state of mind that you're in and what's going on. So it's a little bit like time dependent, but anyway.
So my number 5, and I think it's quotable. It's for sure quotable if you've seen it. I just never realized how many people have actually seen it until they tell you that they've seen it, and that's The Big Lebowski.
Forget it, Donnie. You're out of your element.
Oh, that's a very quotable movie. The dude abides. Donnie, you're out of your element.
Fuck you, Donnie. I love it. I love Steve Buscemi and John Goodman's roles in that movie.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't have it on my top 5, but I had it I've thought about it a lot. I thought that it could go into my top 5. My number 5 is Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later.
That's a good one, too. I don't have that on my list, but that's big gulps, hey, fellas? Well,
big gulp.
See you later.
See you later.
That's a
right?
good one.
Dumb and Dumber is way up there in terms of good quotes. That's number 4.
Man, that's a good. That's a really good one. This is probably the boring one on my list, but I feel like I had to. And that's just The Godfather.
You can act like a man. What's the matter with you?
Oh, I have The Godfather on my list too. A little bit higher.
There's so many quotes from that had like transcended cinema that we still use today, and it's just yeah. But it's like the boring one. Like, I'm not excited about it. I just feel like it had to be on there.
Okay. My number 4 is Step Brothers.
Randy Jackson from American Idol.
Why do you have Randy Jackson's autograph on a martial arts weapon?
Yes, another great one, man.
I was watching Cops. Anytime I'm sweaty and my wife asks me why I'm sweaty, I'll just say I was watching Cops.
Love when he's like, Brandon, get your nuts off my drum set.
Can't have nuts on drum set, man.
Have you ever been that upset from somebody touching something of yours that you would fight them?
No,
that's fair.
I think one of the most upset that I've ever been in my life was when my sister turned off my Mario game right as I was getting to a certain level that I was really working on. That's probably the most upset I've ever been in my life. But I'm not a person who gets really upset about things.
Yeah, you don't. You've never really been much of a emotional guy, really.
No, sentimental, but not. I don't usually let my emotions get the better of me, especially not at McDonald's because I can't figure out how to work out the counter. Which is probably just press the button and you're gonna be okay. Okay, you're number 3.
Just so you know, I've been kicked out of multiple fast food restaurants in my history. So
maybe it's. Of course, it's you.
Me.
Like, you've been kicked. Somebody actually kicked you out of a fast food restaurant. You were told to leave a fast food restaurant, not for drunken behavior. Sober, you've been kicked out of a restaurant.
Yeah, but it's always because I just expect like you to do your job. Like, that's it. Like, if someone was to come to my job and I didn't do my job, I get called out every hour. Like, and
you're an adult. These are like 16-year-old kids.
Nah, I mean, that don't work there. Once again, and I'm not saying this because it's fast food. Like, I would do this anywhere. So don't say that. Don't think I'm like railroading fast food workers. But just saying. How are we back on this?
Because it's ridiculous, and because the more that your story evolves, the more ridiculous it ultimately becomes. Because here's another example of you getting mad at a fast food restaurant. It's not an isolated incident. You've been kicked out of multiple fast food restaurants for your behavior. And then you still are like, oh, somebody else is the problem. Like, no, dude, it's you. You're the problem.
No.
You have to admit it to yourself. You have to admit it to yourself. And after this episode, I hope that you will have a moment of personal growth and you will look in the mirror and you will think about the situations that you were in and think to yourself, you know what? Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I need to make changes.
Or in like 5 years, we'll look back when I'm in prison. And
right.
Anyways.
When if you go to prison for like getting mad and like you're just going to snap? Do you think you're going to snap someday? Do you feel like you're going to snap someday?
No, I don't think so. Not at this age.
What are the chances that you snap on a scale of like 0% to 100%? Like, give me a perspective on the chances that you will snap in the next 5 years.
I'd say less than 10%. I mean, my kids always come into my mind. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do anything dumb enough to where I'd actually go to prison for a long time because I don't want to miss them growing up. So
okay, I feel like my chances of snapping are 10%. So yours have to be. You got to be 25 to 30.
Fine. I'll say 30. Sure. I'll get a third. I have a third of a chance of snapping.
In the next 5 years? Yeah, I could see it coming. I think for you, it'll be a gradual buildup before you snap. Like, there'll be signs, kind of. For me, it's just going to be like, boom.
I mean,
there'll be no signs. I'll just one day just lose it.
I definitely hold things in. Anyways, my number 3 is Anchorman.
I saw that. Brick killed a guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that. I don't have it on my list just because I personally don't like that movie because I used to be in the news industry and got kind of tired of it. But that's definitely way up there.
What's your number 3?
My number 3 is The Godfather. But I think The Godfather, not in terms of me quoting it out loud to other people, but in terms of like life advice. I quote The Godfather internally to myself.
You just sit there and you're just rehashing.
What
just
would
quotes,
what would
huh?
you do? What should you do in this situation? I internally quote The Godfather, not externally. I think that's what makes The Godfather unique.
My number 2 is not really just a specific movie of the franchise, but more or less just the franchise itself, and that's Star Wars.
No, I am your father.
Oh, you're like jumping each level. I have Star Wars as number 1, and I would agree with you. Like, Star Wars is my number 1, but it's more the franchise as a whole than it is an individual movie. If I had to pick an individual movie, though, I think that Revenge of the... No, wait. What's the second one called? Revenge of the Sith?
Nope. Well, I mean, which
Return
one
of the
are you
Sith?
doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10?
First of all,
11?
everybody knows that you go in chronological order. Return.
4,
What's the
5,
second
6.
one called? The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
God, blanked on it. Empire Strikes Back is probably the most quotable, simply because of I am your father.
Yeah. I mean, I would probably pick Jar Jar Binks, probably. He's probably the most quotable.
Oh, I hate you so much.
I know. That's fair. But my number
it's
one...
my number
once
two.
again-
It's my number 2.
Oh, all right, fine, yeah. You're number 2.
My number 2 is Caddyshack.
Oh, this is the worst looking hat I ever saw. Well, you buy a hat like this, I'll bet you get a free bowl of soup, huh?
You'll get nothing and like it. As a father, I've been using you'll get lucky and you'll get nothing and like it a lot. So it's jumped up my ranks. But Caddyshack, very quotable movie to me.
Okay, all right. I mean, once again, you can't go wrong. My number 1 is Rocky.
When the 15th round, you're coming out.
Rocky.
You know, more or less the Rocky franchise, but nevertheless, Rocky itself.
I don't really see Rocky as a quotable movie, to be honest with you.
Oh man,
That's
there's
a surprising pick to me.
There is a scene, I think in number 5, where he talks about like, I used to hold you right here. Remember that scene? And every day I look at you and be so excited for you to grow up. And now look at you, look what you've begun. You can't let them beat you there. They'll keep you on your knees if you let them.
Is that Rocky 5? I think that's one. Anyway.
Yeah, anyways. So, but I mean, once again, I feel like you could interchange. I mean, I left Die Hard off the list, which I wanted to put on there. Forrest Gump, Ferris Bueller, Ghostbusters, Fight Club. There's, you know, I mean, we probably just could have done like most quotable sports movies for us.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Remember the Titans, Major League. You know,
I've never seen either of those movies, to be honest with you. Other ones that I have on my list that you didn't mention: Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Okay.
It's merely a flesh wound.
That's really...
Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
Spaceballs. Spaceballs, I would say, as one singular space Star Wars themed movie, is more quotable than any of the Star Wars movies. But as a whole, Princess Bride, also.
Okay, I mean, they're all, you know, like when you go back to the Wizard of Oz, I thought about putting like Gone with the Wind, right? Like that's probably one of the most quotable lines ever. But do kids even say it anymore? Does the McDonald's ordering machine even know what that is?
Still mad about it, aren't you?